All right, let's see how you did on our warm up for your quiz that you're going to have on your sampling distributions. All right, so remember that we know we have a population amount. That is our original claim. So it even said here that this is the population proportion of uh, defects or that fail to meet specifications. And then that was a sample size of 400 with, so of course, this is saying that all of the samples of size 100 will be centered around that claim of 10%. And then we have our formula for our standard deviation of the p-hats. Remember that your standard deviation of the p-hats will have the population p in it, not the p-hat in it. So that is the 0.10, and which then this is 1 minus that p-hat over n. Make sure you complete mathematically all of this part that's inside first before you square root. And then you get, we actually were wondering about the proportion of samples that are between 0.10 and 0.12. So we were wondering what proportion of all these samples of size 400 are between those two amounts. And so we had to get a z-score for both of them, which is what we have here. A z-score for 0.10, which is the mean. So that should make sense to you that that has a z-score of 0. And then our standard deviation or our z-score for 0.12, which is a little over 1 standard deviation above the mean, 1.33. So our area in between those two is 40.82%. All right, moving on. Here we are talking about an online retailer claims that 90% of the orders are shipped within 12 hours of being received. So that's the population claim. That's the original amount. And so this consumer group places, a consumer placed an order of 121 different sizes at different times of days. Okay, so that's our sample size, which means that um, if 90%, if the population claim is true, then our samples should be centered around 0.90, and that most of our samples of size 21 will have had 90% of them of their samples shipped within 24 hour or 12 hours. This sample happened to be 102. So that's how we got this amount here, which is 0.84. So what that's telling me, and I'm going to do that in a different color, is I'm going to show you that they got this sample result right here, okay, which had just 84% of the order ship within 12 hours. And so they're thinking, well, that's how far away is that? If the data is truly centered, I want to get out of it. If the data is truly centered around 90%, okay, then this is very unusual to have gotten, because you can see our z-score is 0.84 minus the 0.90 over that standard deviation, which was 2.22 standard deviations away. So that kind of is making me think, reality is, okay, so this question just asked for what's the probability that you have this much or less shipped within 24 hours. So there's only a 1.32% chance that that would have happened if the data is truly centered at 90%. So that starts making me think that maybe the real data isn't quite centered at 90%, and they actually have a lower amount that gets shipped within 12 hours of being ordered. All right, so there is your warm up. Good luck on your quiz that you're about to have, and I hope that you are able to keep all those different items straight between population and samples.